Well, hi there guys, and welcome to another episode of On the Bank Angling. Join me here as I make my way down the track towards Stafford Moor Fishery, where I'm going to be fishing Beatties Lake for carp. It's the middle of winter, conditions aren't great, I've only got a little bit of time, but tune in and find out how I got on. After turning up late in the day, unsurprisingly a number of the swims were taken. The middle area of the lake though was largely free, so I set about casting my deeper fish finder out there to see if I could locate some features, some spots to fish on, and maybe even a fish. The left hand spot was a decent depth and fairly flat. The top of a fairly subtle slope seemed the ideal place for the right hand rod. Once the spots were sorted, the plan was to bait the area with a combination of low oil pellets, dead red maggots and cell boilies. I opted to start fishing with short KD rigs presented in solid bags. After a wet and windy night, I was left fishless come the morning. Tactics hadn't worked, and it was time for a change if I was going to save the blank. Finally, the weather calmed down, and it looked like the fish might just be starting to feed. Right then guys, so I've reeled in the rods, and yeah, let's just have a quick look at the rig that I caught the fish on. Very simple, very easy. As I said, I started on solid bag rigs, but nothing was really happening. So if I just grab that one there, so up the line I've got a flying back lead. I like to keep at least the last bit of line pinned down to the bottom. Then I've got tubing coming down to a lead clip system with a big lead. That's 3.5 ounces of lead on there. When I'm chucking singles about, I don't know how far I'm going to be casting, so I want to make sure I've got enough lead there to get the distance. Long section of coated braid there. The longer the better really. If you're fishing singles and you're not using pop-ups, like I'm not here, it's best to use a longer bit of hook link material, because you want to allow for it to fall into the sill and straighten out. So I've got a coated braid on there. That's so that when the rig hits the water, helps kick it away from the lead. Just that little bit of thickness will help it kick away from the lead. You don't want it ended up in a big tangle. If you did this with a normal braid rig, it would just be a mess when you reeled it in. Okay, so that's down to a choddy hook. Choddy hook on there, and on that I've got half a pop-up, half a cell bottom bait tipped with a little rubber red maggot, and that I've just been putting the goo around it, and that's it. Dead simple. Cast that one down to where the fish was showing, and yeah, it did a fish, so sweet.
Right then guys, sorry I haven't done much actual blogging this session, mainly because the weather has been absolutely horrendous. I didn't get here till late last night on Beatties Lake here at Stafford Moor, so I was more focused about getting the bivvy, or getting the brolly up and getting everything set up, which I actually had to do twice, as the wind, which was blowing this way, across, well, kind of across this way like this, changed and blew this way. So it blew straight into my brolly, started moving my brolly about, so I had to change it. So yeah, it was a bit hectic all night. I'll explain the rigs and everything that I started off using. Started off targeting this area out here, just by this island. I chucked the deeper out there, and I did see a few fish out, spot a few fish with the deeper out there, and it was fairly flat. So I thought that was a fairly decent place to start. So I loved I loved both out there. A couple of spoms and maggots and pellets and bits and bobs over the top. And yeah, that really didn't produce anything. I had a couple of liners in the night, and that was about it. But today, I mean, I don't have long left now. As you will have seen, I had managed to avoid the blank, which is always as good as anything. But there was a gentleman fishing just down in this area here, and he said, very kindly came over and told me that he saw some fish on his deeper out in this sort of area. So obviously I didn't chuck down there while he was here, but as he's now gone, he had 3 fish incidentally, all off the same rod that he saw the fish on with the deeper. So yeah, all I've done is cast 2 singles out into this sort of area, and yeah, that one was out there about an hour before that one ripped off. So yeah, you never know, you might get another fish, but if not, I'm sure we'll be back in the future to get a few more out. I mean, we've done videos here before. Yeah, just looking to see if there's any activity. It's been very, very quiet. Hardly been a fish move. If he didn't have that deeper to spot those fish out there, I'm sure he wouldn't have. It's not the kind of area you would just put a rig, really. It's just sort of in open water, not really near anything. So there obviously are a few fish just held up out there. So yeah, let's see if we can get one more in the next couple of hours and then off home. Everything's soaking wet, there's no point, it's not going to dry, so I might as well hang it out for a bit and then get on the road. But it's nice to catch a fish on a winter session regardless of the size.
Well, even after giving it another couple of hours, unfortunately I couldn't get another bite. Then the weather came back in and it was time to pack up and go. Hope you enjoyed this short video though, so until next time, tight lines.